Good morning. This is Bhupinder Kaur. I'm explaining the first chapter, The Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh. This chapter he wrote in the memory of his grandmother and he wanted to pay a tribute to her because he was very much inspired from her. Before starting the chapter, I would like to talk about Khushwant Singh. He was born on 2nd February 1915 and he died on 20th March 2014. The birthplace was Hadali, Punjab. Now this place is in Pakistan. His father was Sardar Bahadur Sar Soba Singh. His mother was Lady Varyam Kaur. He was married to Kebal Malik. He got his education from Punjab University, Chandigarh, King's College, London, the Dexon Poon School of Law, St. Stephen's College. He was a renowned novelist, journalist, diplomat, and lawyer, and today he is best known for his literary works. He wrote his most notable work, Train to Pakistan, recounting his experiences of the partition of India. In 1974, he was honored the Padma Bhushan by India's president. However, in 1984, he returned the honor as protest to Indian government against the storming of Golden Temple by the Indian Army. In the year 2007, Khushwant Singh was awarded with the Padma Vibhushan. In the year 2006, he was awarded Punjab Ratna Award by the Government of India. In July 2000, he was bestowed the Honest Man of the Year Award by Sulabh International Social Service Organization for his bravery and sincerity. In 2010, he was given Sahitya Academy Fellowship Award by Sahitya Academy of India. In 2012, he was given All India Minority Forum Annual Fellowship Award by Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav. He was also honored with Order of Khalsa, Nishane Khalsa. Now we'll talk about the theme of the story. In The Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh, we have the theme of innocence, friendship, love, connection, kindness, selfishness, respect, and acceptance. The fact that generation gap is not an unsurpassable gulf is characterized or shown by the fact that today, if we think of the simple and the beautiful days of our childhood spent with the parents and the grandparents, we might grow up and grow apart, but the morals and the discipline given to us by the older generation refuse to die. As we grow up, various tasks and interests attract our attention, leaving us with very little time to realize that we might be the only interest of someone in our family. If the birth of a grandchild leading to boundless joy for grandparents is a reality in every nook of the world, in every corner of the world, it is also true that the grandchildren's attention will be invariably taken over by other things pretty soon. We end up being so busy that those silent steps the older ones take to retreat from our lives are rarely noticed. In this story, the grandmother is at all times when needed is there for the narrator. This too may be important as it is not only suggested a strong bond between the narrator and his grandmother, but also the fact that they have a strong connection with one another. The grandmother is also patient as one would expect someone who is older to be. It is also noticeable that the grandmother is dedicated to God, something that is clear to the reader by the fact that the grandmother is constantly praying. Just as she feels connected to the narrator, likewise, the grandmother has a connection with God also. The end of the story is also interesting as Khushwant Singh appears to be exploring the theme of acceptance. There is a sense that the narrator is quick to accept that his grandmother is dead, something that may have been made easier by the grandmother herself being fully conscious and accepting the fact that she was about to die. In reality, The narrator's greatest influence in his life has not been his parents, but what he has learnt in the school, but rather than it is his grandmother's influence in his life which was shaped the narrator. From a very young boy to a grown up man, she has always been there for him. Now we will talk about the moral of the story. The moral of the story, the portrait of a lady, is first and foremost the sweet companionship of the grandmother and the author. The story portrays a grandson's perception of his grandmother and how their bond of love undergoes changes. The grandparents' old age is well spent. The children learn to take care from them. The author learns the basic education of life in his childhood from his grandmother, like being attended by her, going to school, and attending the village dogs and feeding them, as he also feeds on the same stale chapatis. This teaches the compassion for animals. Later on, in his later years, also the grandmother teaches him by the example of her character. She is very consistent in her work of spinning the wheel, counting the beads, and praying in herself. This type of character brings peace in the home. The author is very successful in his life, learning the basic ethics from his grandmother. The story also puts light on the need of companionship and friendship felt by our elders. It shows how love and emotions is experienced not only by human beings but also by animals and birds. Now we'll have the summary of the chapter. In the lesson, The Portrait of a Lady, the writer draws a very beautiful picture of his grandmother. He says she was quite an old woman, but people used to say that she was very pretty and beautiful, which is very difficult for the writer to believe because he has seen his grandmother like this only. His grandfather's picture was over the mantelpiece in the drawing room, and he looks like 100 years old. Khushwant Singh's grandmother was a short-heighted, fat and slightly bent lady. Her face was all wrinkled, as we can see her grandmother's also. Though she was very old, but she looked the same at least for 20 years. She used to walk the whole house in spotless white clothes with one hand on her waist to balance her body. She had a rosary in another hand, always telling the beads, and her beautiful silver hair scattered over her face. She always used to pray to herself. Khushwant Singh and his grandmother were very good friends because they were staying together, because his parents left for the city and leaving him under the care of his grandmother. And then they had always been together. She used to wake him up for the school, got him ready for the school. She used to wash her slate, get ready with the things, the ink pot, the red pen, the tie, and hand it over to him. In the breakfast, she used to give him the thick stale chapatis with little bit of butter and sugar on it. And while taking him to the school, she would carry several stale chapatis with her for the village dogs. Her grandmother used to accompany him to school because it was attached to the temple, and she used to sit in the temple where the priest used to teach the students, the children, alphabet and the morning prayers. The children used to sit in the rows of the veranda and used to sing the morning prayers and the alphabets. The grandmother used to sit inside the temple reading the holy books and praying. After the school, they used to return home together. And on the way back to home, the village dogs gathered at the temple and they would roar and fight for the chapatis thrown to them by the grandmother and the writer. Khushwant Singh and grandmother were taken to the city to live there permanently with the parents, and it was the turning point in their friendship. How? Because his grandmother no longer accompanied him to the school. There he used to go to the school in a motor bus, and there were no street dogs were there whom the grandmother can feed the stale chapatis. And what she used to do now is she used to take to the feeding of the sparrows in the courtyard of their house. Years passed by and the distance between the grandmother and Khushwant Singh widened up. She hated the Western music and the science which was taught in the school, as it was English medium school, as there was no teaching about the God in the school, which makes her unhappy because she was too much attached to the connected to the God, and she wanted her grandchild to learn about God. When Khushwant Singh went up to university, he was given a separate room for study and to live in. And there, the common connection between the grandmother and Khushwant Singh was broken, as he used to spend more and more time into his studies rather than spending more time with the grandmother. He was busy. Grandmother accepted her loneliness very quietly, and she used to spend more and more time on her spinning wheel and reciting prayers. And when she used to relax in the afternoon, she used to be very delighted and happy in feeding the sparrows. Hundred of sparrows used to gather there, and that pieces of breads which were thrown to them, they used to eat it. Here in the city house, she never got the stale chapatis to feed the sparrows, so she took up the pieces of breads. When her grandchild decided to go abroad for higher studies, she was not at all happy, but she never showed it. She came to the railway station to see him off. When the grandchild returned home after 5 years, and his grandmother again came up to the railway station to receive him, surprisingly, she did not look a day older. She was the same as 5 years before. In the evening, the grandmother was too happy. What she did is, she collected women of the neighborhood, she got an old drum and started singing songs for several hours. It was the first time that she forgot to pray in the evening, because she was very constant with praying in the morning and in the evening, and this was the first day that she forgot to pray. And the next morning she took to bed as she was ill. She declared that her end was approaching near, that she is about to die. She lay peacefully in her bed and started praying. The rosary was in his hand. She refused to talk to any member of this house, and she started praying. And while praying, her lips stopped moving and the rosary fell down from her lifeless fingers that declared that she was dead. She was laid on the ground and her body was covered with the red cloth. In the evening, they went to her room with the wooden stretcher to take her for the cremation. There were thousands of sparrows sitting in the veranda of the house around the dead body. Surprisingly, they did not make any noise, and they took no notice of the breadcrumbs which were thrown to them by the author's mother. The dead body was carried away. The next morning, the sweeper swept the breadcrumbs into the dustbin. That means sparrows did not had it, and they went without having it, as they were too connected to the grandmother, and they have the habit of taking those breadcrumbs by the hand of grandmother. As she was not there, she was no more, they went off without eating it. Hope you are able to understand the chapter. Thank you so much.